If you want to be a doctor, a surgeon, a lawyer, you need to go to college. It's simple as that, okay? I'm 24, I'm nothing special, and I made 15 grand in a single month back in January. I think nowadays you don't need a job. You need an income, okay? Here's the thing. College is great if you're going to do any of them jobs I listed, okay? But you have to think about it this way. In the peak years of your development, when you're 18 or 19, okay, you're dedicating 3 or 4 years of your life to learn a skill that a lot of the time you could have learned on the internet for free. You could have watched a YouTube video on it, okay? Not only that, is people also go into debt for school. Like, I know in Ireland, it's about 3,000, 4,000 euro a term. If you want to go to private school, you're looking at 10,000 euro easily a term. I know over in the United States, you're talking hundred thousands of dollars, which is just incredible. No wonder there's so many like entrepreneurs, influencers, social media brands over there. Here's the thing, right? Let me tell you a story about me. I was 21, I'm 24 now. I was 21 and I was in college, my first year. I was doing a marketing degree. I looked around me, I seen a bunch of people that were all competing for the same jobs, pretty much. I just looked at myself and I was saying, right, I'm paying my own college fees, I'm putting myself in my own financial strain. I'm going to dedicate 3 or 4 years to this course. And then at the end of it, I'm going to get a job that's going to get me an entry-level marketing job, which will earn me 30, 40, 50k a year, okay? At the time, it might have changed now. Given the housing crisis, given how expensive things are right now, like that would not cut it at all. So pretty much I dropped out. I said, right, to my parents, I'm not doing this anymore. It was my own decision. They weren't very happy with it at the time. However, I knew I'd be okay because I had a plan. I don't urge anyone to drop out of college if you're the type to not have a plan and just sail through life. I've always been someone who's had that self-belief and knew I was meant for more, which is something I'm blessed to have. I dropped out and I would have been a big follower of Alex Hormozi, a big follower of all these gurus, the self-help guys, Chris Williamson, etc. And I just want to focus on one skill. I looked up on Indeed and LinkedIn, sales jobs, okay? I saw no experience needed and it was 32k a year starting, plus commission, okay? I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I don't even care about marketing, right? I would have been spending 4 years to earn the exact same salary, you know? So I was like, right, I'm gonna go and do this door-to-door sales job. Granted, it was shit. I was walking in the piss and rain, door-to-door, being told to fuck off every 10 minutes. But it had to be done. I was building the skill set, okay? I demonstrated to myself that I can actually sell. I became a team lead. I was being able to kind of train people in as they were coming through the door. But it really just showed me that like it all depends on the vehicle and the skill set you have. Like how can someone who's just gone 21 at the time be making more than someone who has completed a full college course and being specialised in a subject? And it's amazing the journey I've been on, because after I finished door to door, I went and I carried that same skill over to a selling Wi-Fi job, like whatever, broadband. Ended up doing really well on that as well. And I ended up winning sales rep of the year. I have photos and all to prove it. I'll point it up here if I have it, if I can find it anywhere. But around that time, I was like, right, I'm the next fucking Grant Cardone. Like thinking like that. Obviously I'm not. And I started getting ads on my Instagram for this high ticket sales gig. And for anyone that doesn't know what high ticket sales is, pretty much look at all the social media brands that you follow on Instagram and look at their bio. It's a link to their fucking landing page, and then right down is they're selling courses. I was seeing people literally making 2 sales a month, making literally 10 grand in a single month. And I was like, right, well, if I can sell people door to door and I can cold call, I can absolutely do this high ticket sales gig. So what I did, instead of going to college, I took the investment that I would have done to actually do 3 or 4 years in college, and I actually just invested that in my own skill set, okay, of high ticket sales. At the time I went into debt, but what I did do is like I learned myself the skill to actually make 5-10 grand a month. And in January just gone, I am proud to say, and can't even believe I'm saying it out loud, I made 15,000 euro, okay? I'm now moving to Barcelona in September time, because I have that stability behind me. Like I said, I'm 24, I'm not special, okay? Not a high achiever in school, very good at sports and excelled in like PE, this kind of stuff. But what I'm trying to get across is that the vehicle I'm currently in, regardless of whether or not I'm more talented than you, or regardless of whether I'm smarter than you, I'm around people and I'm in a better vehicle to actually go and make money. You know, I literally have to make, right now in the current offer I'm on, 10 sales to make 10 grand a month. That's how it works. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be sales. It could be just you want to set up your own social media marketing agency. Why don't you just invest in your skill set and learn from someone who's done that, and then all of a sudden you have the full skill set and the accountability by your side to go and make whatever you want a month, how many clients you bring on. So my take is that you don't need a job anymore. You don't. What you do need is an income, because look, like where you're getting the money from doesn't really matter. As long as you're eating and you have shelter, you're okay. But I do personally recommend sales, because sales is a huge growth journey, okay? The ability to actually articulate yourself without stuttering or murmuring, it's really underrated. And like, I've made 5 videos on this YouTube channel. I'm actually really comfortable with speaking in front of the camera as I stutter. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you. If you're thinking about going to college, genuinely think about it, okay? That was done in one take. I'm actually really impressed with myself. Comment down below your situation. I'd be happy to actually just give insight. And look, if you want to go regardless, do it. Some people want the college life, okay? And that's you, but that just wasn't me. So look, if it isn't you either, and you're someone that knows they're meant for more, I'm building an audience of like-minded individuals, okay? Do me a favor, subscribe.